back in the news studio. What in the world? Come on now. What is that? No, stapler. Just learned what a stapler is now. I didn't know what it was on its side. I didn't know what it were. It's a stapler. I don't even remember bringing that up here. What did I need a stapler for up here? Anyway, it's Tuesday. So, well. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's Tuesday. That means it's Newsday. And if you've done something ridiculous this week in angling, or last week, or if you're thinking about doing something ridiculous next week, I'm probably going to discuss it on here. That's right. This is a bit of a channel. Something's creaking. This is the part of my channel where I discuss everything news related in the angling world over the last couple of weeks. Last week, tomorrow, yesterday, an hour ago. This is where it all happens. Absolutely no filter. Absolutely no remorse at all. Unless or up until legal action is taken. So let's have a look at what's gone off in the angling world this week. First thing I want to start off with is support in the angling world, right? You all know me by now. If I think you've got a stupid idea, or if your stupid idea that I already think and knew you had is then being a little bit less productive and it's not quite working out, and things aren't going to plan, and but you know it's not, but yet you continue, and it could be any aspect of anything really. I won't support what you're doing, and I'll also, you know what I'm talking about, all these competition things. That's just one example. Bad tackle being produced, like nasty stuff, and I don't know, people overcharging for something that somebody can make for a fraction of the cost. And I can say it on here, like when Guru brought out the caster banders, I don't know how much, they were just one-sided. I ain't got one up here, but it were a bit like a disgorger. It's got an hole in end and you can band a caster. It stops your casters from bursting, and it's just a bit neater way of putting them on a band on the hair if you're fishing shallow for whatever. And then for a company like Tackle 3D to come along, and they just made double-ended ones in packs of 2. I think they even did packs of 3, not just caster banders, but they ended up doing a 4mm, a 6mm, an 8mm, a 10mm, and made pellet banders. And they were doing like a pack of, well, 3, but 6 double-ended. Great bits of kit to have. Anyway, other companies out there, like Guru, I think there were another one. I think Preston have done them as well. I'm not shedding no light on everybody, but at that moment in time, I think it was just Guru that were doing them. And I was just like, well, why are you charging so much from now when people can sell them for a lot less? You need to bring the prices all the way down. And they never did. So anyway, so I'm talking about supporting the angling world, supporting things that are great, productive for the sport, really positive, have got a good impact. People, companies, individuals that have just got a good attitude towards shoehorning whatever support they can into the angling world. If you've been watching my channel just lately, you'll see that I've had quite a couple of handfuls of people. Sorry, I'm just learning how to talk again. And they've been donating tackle to me. My intention is to, on the channel, if I can, best I can, get it donated to some juniors so they can look back at when they had it given to them. And I've already made videos of receiving the tackle of the donors. I've been using the word donator quite a lot. I don't think that's a word, is it? Really need to learn. I need a dictionary up here. So it means that when I pass the tackle on, I'm also going to use it as well. A child will be told, I've actually been catching fish on it. I want you to try and beat my session. I want you to do this. You'll learn more about it as it goes on. But it's from Mick, or it's from Paul, or it's from Mark, or it's from Jamie, or it's from, there were 2 Micks and 2 Paul, 2 Micks and 2 Marks. So anyway, my point is, all the support that's coming in is unbelievable. So thank you for anyone that helps support anybody in a positive and productive way. You got to remember, I've said this to a lot of people, like when you're working for somebody, if somebody comes to you and says, oh, I've got a better paid job for you in here, you're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing this, but you're also going to be doing this much and this more than you already do, I'd like to offer you the promotion. If you're like, oh, a promotion, people hear the word promotion and think, no, 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 stop. A promotion is only something that promotes your work ethic, your tenure, right? If I went up to anybody and said, here's double the amount of work, oh, and you'll get paid an extra £3 an hour for doing it, I wouldn't be buzzing because, well, technically I'm on the same pay as I was before based on my workload, right? Anyway, I'm not going to waffle on to. So it's not always something's not always great because somebody says it is. Like my job, I have to do a lot of travelling, fishery audits, collecting tackle for juniors, collecting tackle for myself. I go out, I collect so much for myself as well. It's unreal what you've seen on channel just lately that's been donated. Sorry, I've got donor, donated, and donator in my head. I need camera girl. She's like really good at talking and stuff and just using like English language. I have to do a lot of travelling for it. Other day I did 366 miles, Bristol and back in the morning to pick up some stuff from a lovely chap called Mark. Mark Paul. Jamie. Yeah, from Mark. And incredible person. Had a lovely cup of tea with him, met his family, lovely household, bunch of dogs, absolutely incredible. Like you sometimes forget what's going off out there in the world. Anyway, waffling. Anyway, even I have been offered support. Even I have been given support. And I'm not going to bang on about it for too long. Please, please take a leaf out of this man's book. This man is called Andy Norfolk. I don't have a picture of him. I'm not going to do that to him. Mr. Andy Norfolk, he contacted me and he said on YouTube, and he says, can I have your email address? And I said, of course you can, Andy. I give him my email address. Andy sent me a message. Now, just remember, let me give you an example. I've probably got 3,000 examples, but I'm just going to use these two. I went to go and buy a hold all of somebody last week before, 3 weeks ago, and he had this for sale, and he wanted £10 for it, 10 quid. To me, not in value and money, but to me it's worth a lot more than that because I'm going to use it on my channel. I've always wanted one. It's a very special rod. I'm not going to tell you what it is. If you've watched the videos, you'll know what it is. And he turned around and said, because you're giving the hold all to some kids, you can have the rod. Just have it. And I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah. So he gave it me for absolutely nothing. To me, it's priceless, right? Because of what I'm going to use it for and because of how much it's worth to me as a collector. Second up, you remember this landing net handle that this company sent me? Fever, completely free of charge. They didn't send it me because I'm special. They didn't send it me because they like what I do. They sent it me because I won a competition on Facebook. But it was still supported. It still supported me. It'll be used on the channel. It's going to be in my personal kit. It was support from the outside world. Mr. Andy Norfolk got in touch with me and said, I'd like to make a donation towards your fuel costs because of how much travelling that I do. So I said, I don't normally take money off people. It's not something that I've ever done before. Don't quite know how I feel about it because just I don't know. You got to remember, the guy offered me a bit of a monetary value donation, right? And believe me, it's not like thousands of pounds. I'm not going to do that to Andy. Now, fuel, I get through it fast. It takes a while, but I do 300-400 miles in a day. I've done over 2,000 miles in a week before doing this job, visiting different fisheries all over the country. So, Mr. Andy Norfolk, you're probably going to see this. He says he's a fan of this bit, the news. Massive thank you for your donation. I've had a chat with Tesco and Esso and a few others. It don't really matter who. I just wanted to see if I could get the money's worth in vouchers for my fuel. And I know eventually I'm going to put that money through my vehicle anyway. But it would have been nice to be able to show some vouchers that I can only spend on, and then you've seen a result of something in real time. But believe me when I say this, I filled up my cart the other day, 30 quid. A couple of days, light will be on again, it'll be another 30 quid. So you do rack through it quite quick. So Mr. Andy Norfolk, he sponsored the channel. So let me treat it as though, because it's fuel, it's not like I can show you bits of tackle I'm going to use. The hidden things that you don't see, fuel costs. I very rarely eat in the morning until afternoon, but stuff like, just £3 at services when you've not had out to eat and you're middle of nowhere, it adds up. And then, I don't know, grabbing a coffee, for just little things like that. You completely forget about the travel costs, the fuel. So Mr. Andy Norfolk, an incredible person, got in touch with me. I've not met him. I'd like to meet him. I think at some point I'll have to go in. He says he's into the modelling world. So Andy, I at some point will come up and have a bit of a nosy at what you do modelling wise, and yeah, I like stuff like that. So this episode, before I carry on, is probably a little bit sponsored by Andy Norfolk. A lot of my other episodes where I'm travelling about, I'll probably chuck Andy's name in the old description. Andy, I hope you don't mind, but like I say, I've not got anything to show for it, but I will dedicate a bunch of episodes, especially the travelling ones, to you, sir, because somebody turning around saying, can I make a donation towards your fuel costs, is mental. So Andy, thank you very much. There's a shout out. I know you didn't ask for one, but I can't be given something and supported in my role in the angling world without giving back to you. So yes, thank you very much. Incredible gesture. And I know you said you watch these little news segments that I do. I thought I'd start off with a positive and just, yeah, blown away. I've actually been emailing Andy backwards and forwards quite a bit, and yeah, he saw me fishing for trout, well, fishing for chub the other day, but I was catching trout, and it's the first fishing video he's seen me do. So Andy, like everyone else, get in comments if there's anything you'd like to see me doing. Talk away. I want to give you your money's worth. Now, something news related. Everybody loves a nice big reservoir, whether you're a roach angler, you like a couple of perch, you like to do big long casts for some big bream. Even carp anglers are taking to these big natural reservoirs now because there's always been some hidden carp in there. And what might seem like a drop in the ocean for a carp angler, there's a lot of carp anglers out there that even a full week sat there and coming home without a single fish is learning an incredible amount of knowledge towards your fishing like approach armory. So if you're going to a venue and you're catching fish after fish after fish, well, it's working. If you're going to a venue like Windermere, Esthwaite, I don't know if you can fish much of Rutland anymore, but massive, massive, like, expanses of water. If you can go to them places and catch a fish, a carp, especially carp on carp gear, and you're targeting the big ones, it's quite special. And catching one carp from a venue like that is the equivalent to catching 15 in a day on Drayton. It's, it's quite special. It's just as valuable. But in recent years, things like bream fishing, roach fishing, especially long distance feeder fishing, everyone's getting into that now. It makes sense to... It's becoming even more popular. And one of the biggest lake/water course, lake in the nation, is Windermere, on Lake Windermere. It is the biggest still water course in the land. It's not a river, it's not a canal, but it is the biggest lake in England. And they have put on their social media page, Esthwaite Water have shared it, 30 brand new fishing pegs on Windermere for 2026. We're incredibly excited to announce a brand new opportunity for anglers in 2026 on Windermere, the largest lake in England. Stretching over 11 miles long with an impressive 22 miles of banking, Windermere is iconic. However, with around 80% privately owned and inaccessible to anglers, quality bank fishing here has always been extremely limited. Until now. A major new development for 2026, Esthwaite Water Fisheries, in conjunction with the landowners Brathwaite Estate, have secured access to a huge stretch of exclusive West Bank fishing in the South Basin, running from Silverholme to Lingholme. This means 30 new fishing pegs, prime course and pike fishing, perfect depths and productive water, easy access and parking, exclusive fishing on private land, and overnight fishing available. Windermere. 30 new pegs, lots more availability, and you know me, I love a fishery that's just opening the doors that little bit further. But overnight fishing, you imagine that? There's probably going to be a booking process, but the largest lake in England. I'm not really a specimen angler. I don't really do much specimen fishing like carp fishing. I can catch those fish on the gear that I use, so I don't find it pointless, but I don't really have that approach. But fishing Windermere through night, knowing that you've got that much water in front of you and you're sat on the biggest lake in England, imagine being sat there casting into the unknown. It would be like dropping a hair in the ocean. And then imagine your alarm going off. Imagine actually playing a fish and not wondering. It would be a surreal experience. So Windermere for 2026, 30 new pegs. Pike fishing is probably going to be definitely popular on there. I imagine carp fishing will take off. Hopefully there's a booking process for both sides, matching carp, because, you know, it wouldn't be nice to turn up to a peg wanting to spend a while there and having a match angler on there or a course angler and vice versa. But yeah, Windermere, 30 new pegs. If you've not seen the post, go on S8 Water and you'll be able to read the full post on there. But yeah, get in comments. What do you think? Windermere, 30 new pegs. A lot of it is privately owned. I think what they've done is they've come to some sort of like agreement with a lot of area owners of the banks, and it's come to like, you know, this is going to be really good for everybody, or you're in. Yeah. Well, there's no reason not to, is there? But 30 new pegs on Windermere. What do you think? Are you for it or are you against it? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's not? I'd like to wear a few different colours. I know there's going to be a few purists out there that are saying it should be left, or they should put in the rules like at Clumber. If you're fishing at Clumber, you can film all you like. You can take all the pictures you want, but you're not allowed to put them into circulation on social media and the internet. I think you're only allowed to keep it for your own experience, which is normal anyway. Anyone's allowed to do that. So should they do the same on Windermere, just to try and keep it a little bit, or at least to start with? Get in comments, talk away. Be interesting to hear your opinions. Feeder fishing. This is one of probably 600 feeder rods that I own. What's so good about feeder fishing? Well, feeder fishing is good because it means you can line a lake, canal or riverbed with a rig, and you can put some feed out there at the same time. When you retrieve a fish or pull it back in, you've then fed your swim for the next cast. It's quite a nice way of fishing, sitting and watching a tip. It's very easy on just physical stresses that we all experience when out on bank. When you get a bite, the tip wobbles, you pick the rod up and boom, you're into a fish. Do you always land them? No, we don't. But that's the whole purpose of feeder fishing. It's all about a bit of skill set, distance casting, accurate casting. You've got to remember, you're not just putting a pole rig onto a 5p every time with feeder fishing. There's a lot of different external factors you have to take into account, which makes it that all more desirable of a sort of approach in fishing. And that being said, England has one of the greatest feeder teams, competition teams ever. And if you just think of a handful of the best feeder anglers in the country, that same handful will be in the same handful of best feeder anglers in the world you could select. We've got some incredible feeder anglers. Sponsorship has always been very supportive for them. In previous years, they've had companies like Preston Innovations. It's easy to understand that Preston Innovations are probably going to be one of the greatest sponsors for any event, really, but especially feeder fishing. And not only that, a lot of, in Preston's first few years sponsoring the feeder team, Preston were also going through some huge development projects with feeder rods, distance rods, you name it. There were a lot on in the range on the market. So it made a lot of sense for Preston to have a lot of input. Then you've got luggage, then you've got seat boxes, then you've got, they even did in England a feeder team luggage range, which were great. All the hard cases, you name it. And then in recent years, it's not been Preston. It actually went to Drennan International. So they're actually sponsored by Drennan. Well, you might be thinking, well, Drennan do everything. Well, no. Drennan don't do your seat boxes. Drennan don't do like your platforms. So you're already losing a little bit of your catalogue. However, Drennan do some of the greatest feeder rods going on the market. I own one of them. I've not had a chance to use it yet. I will get out and probably use it at some point. I think it's just ignorance more than anything. I think you just know it's going to be good. But Drennan have actually sponsored, for the last few years, the England feeder team. And the news this week is Drennan International are proud to announce the extension of its sponsorship of the World Championship winning England feeder team for a further 4 years, extending our backing for Dean Barlow's squad through to April 2031, building on 3 highly successful years together. So, Dean Barlow, lovely bloke, drew next to him a couple of times at Southfield. He's gaffer. Also sponsored by Drennan, which makes sense. Knows the quality of the gear, been through a lot of the production processes when it comes to actually making sure it's worthwhile before it goes on sale to you guys. You got to remember, they're not just going to send feed a squad out there with tat, and if the quality has to be top notch just for domestic customers like me and you and some of you serious match anglers out there, even some of you serious river anglers out there, Drennan don't just stop at match tackle. They make some incredible rods, especially the specialist range. They also have to make sure that all that same tackle is worthy of winning world championships on feeder events around the world. So, massive squad every year. A bunch of bank runners go over. There's always a great management team. You never see any less than 3 people all sat there making sure that it's like a Swiss watch. If you do a lot of, I know not everyone's a match angler, but feeder fishing, competition fishing, to a lot of people, I think, people prefer it. I know the pole fishing over there and stuff like that, and wherever they end up, that's also just as popular. It's got a huge following. But I think, competition fishing, feeder fishing, you've got to be that little bit more switched on, haven't you? So, yeah. Another 4 years, 2031, sponsored by Drennan, which is massive support, making sure they get over there. They've got all the kit, all the clothing, everything that they need. So stuff like bib and braces, jackets, rods, reels, they do everything. You think about terminal stuff that Drennan do as well. All the clothing range you can imagine for climates from sort of cold sort of areas at world right down to, boiling red hot areas. So, yes, there's a lot that they cover. Great idea to have them sponsored. I'll put on screen now the team of the England feeder team. This is Dean signing a deal here for another 4 years. And yeah, another UK-based company sponsoring a UK-based team, which is great. Keeping it all at home, keeping it all in-house. And it's just nice to see. It's really nice to see. So, massive well done to Drennan International, and also massive well done for the feeder team for having such great backing for another 4 years. Absolutely incredible. Now, 3 very positive points we've touched on already, which is incredible. I like positivity. I think it's absolutely fantastic. What I don't like is reading stories about Simon Crowe, carp fishing extraordinaire, who I've followed for a long time, being videoed in someone's personal peg space after attacking them in their bivvy. Now, this is a story that a lot of you might have seen on the old Facebooks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop there. I'm going to play the clip right now for you. Right,
okay, Simon Crowe just come down here, attacked me. Look at his bloody lip. Attacked me because I call him out for cheating. Yes. Come and jumped on me while I'm fishing.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Simon Crowe.
Don't make it up.
24th of February, 2026.
That's the date. I've got a phone as well.
11:55.
I've got a phone as well.
Came down here and just assaulted me.
No, never.
Attacked me.
No, never.
Look at your mouth, it's bleeding.
No, look at your head.
Why are you here then?
So you saying, so my so you're saying you attacked me?
Okay,
then,
so why are you here?
You're saying I attacked you?
You were bleeding.
You're saying you attacked me?
I don't know why you were bleeding.
You're saying you attacked me?
Oh dear me.
Yeah, you're saying you attacked me.
Simon Crowe, the man who has to cheat to catch fish on here.
That clip there is filmed by a Mr. Craig Mitchell, from what I can see on Facebook. Craig is sat at Apex Lakes. I think it's in Lincoln. He is sat fishing, going about his day. Previously, Simon Crowe this is what's alleged, had breached a few fishery rules. I think one from not being near his rods, and the other one from being in the lake in a boat. I think from what I've heard in the actual footage and comments. What Craig has then said is called him out for it online. You can't just turn up at someone's door all the time. You can't just go and see somebody in Tesco. You don't know when they're going shopping to go and have it out with them. So what he's done is he's seen the opportunity online, and a lot of people call it keyboard warriors. No. What he's done is he's called him out for it online. Luckily, a lot of people can see it, so you can't really bury it. And then Simon Crow, after that, during a few fishing sessions, Craig sat fishing. Simon Crow's come round to his peg, gone into his bivvy, attacked him. All his bivvy's been knocked over, his chair's all crooked. I think what he's done is he's defended himself to get Simon off him to the point where this Craig's face is covered in cuts. He's got cuts all over him. Looks like he's been thrown all over the place. Simon Crow's got a bit of a bloody lip. Could have happened during the tussle, but if the story's straight and this chap's just gone into his bivvy and started attacking this Craig bloke, oh yeah, you're going to give him some fist, aren't you? You can't do that. You shouldn't really be in anyone's personal space, never mind in someone's bivvy. Going into someone's bivvy or tent or anything like that and attacking them, it should be treated as, breaking it, going into somebody's house when you shouldn't be attacking them. It's exactly the same. Just because you're outside don't make any difference. So this has been circulating on Facebook quite a bit, and I know a lot of people they don't want to see this, and it is a bit negative, but this is why a lot of people get away with stuff. And from what I've seen, Simon Crow's Facebook page has now disappeared because I was tagging him in posts, asking for answers and explanations. Because if it were me and it wasn't true, or I had a different side of the story where I went round to go and have a conversation with him about it and say like, oi, don't go saying stuff like that about me on Facebook, all right? And let's say that it was the other way around and he assaulted me. By the way, this is all just alleged. There's no video of the fight. And someone just assaulted me for it, and I got a bloody lip, and I assaulted them back in self-defence, and they had cuts all over the face. And I'm not trying to swing it. Well, that's exactly what had happened. So everything is up in the air a little bit. However, this Craig guy, he's still posting videos, trying to keep it going. Simon Crow's account's disappeared. It's all a little bit up in the air. And then I see this from 15 hours ago. Carpology have put a video on just 15 hours ago. So this is 4 days after all this has kicked off on Facebook. World record carp and human remains, Simon Crow tells all. So you've got to really ask yourself, what on earth is going on? If we're in a position now, and I also went through some comments on the post from the Craig guy, there's a lot of people on there saying, what's wrong with two blokes just having a fight on back? If, and I'm not saying it's not, because anything could come out next, but if it's true, and this chap's in his bivvy, and he's got his son in there, or his daughter, and they sat watching tablet, chilling out, and he sat there at the front, so if his rods go off, he can quickly get out. If he sat there chilling out, like he says in the video, and somebody, Simon Crow's come round, gone into his bivvy, and just assaulted him straight off, you think how traumatic that'd be for a young kid or a child sat there. And I know people are going to say, yeah, but there weren't no kids, but they could have been. And up until that point, this Simon chap had no idea. So, at what part, where are we? Where are we when we're doing stuff like that? If you can't just respond to somebody online, I do it quite a lot. If I don't like someone's opinion, or I think someone's talking absolute wet, or I just not a fan or whatever, everyone's allowed to have an opinion. I don't do it every time, but sometimes when I see something a bit silly or a bit ridiculous, 100% I'm calling somebody out. Show me. Prove it. Show me. Because there's a lot more to, false, poorly constructed comments and theories than there is, so, yeah, call people out. You broke the rules. Oh, crap, rubbish. Oh, well, I tell him I won't come back no more then. What's wrong with that? You can't just, if you're going to ban someone for breaking rules, ban them. If you know someone's broke the rules, call them out for it. Do it. Like, no problem. What you can't do is just ban someone for not breaking rules. You can't just ban, you can't just treat a human unfairly when they've not broken any fishery rules. You can't do that. You also can't just go around assaulting people, but there could have been an easier way to resolve it. But absolutely nothing wrong at all with somebody calling somebody out online for breaking rules. If you've broke any rules and you've got evidence or proof, or even just a theory, you can say what you like. You know, he's not saying anything really harmful to your character. He's seen you do something. He's said it online because you're not in his front room and you're not in his garden. So he said it to you online. How else would he say it? What you then do next is either reply back, or when you see him in person, go and confront him. Why did you say that about me? Have an argument. Have a full-on debate. Have a quarrel. Have a slanging match. You know, it's not keyboard warriors. It just wasn't there at the time, but he was online, so he just said it. Have it out with them. You've got to be really weak to not do that and then go and try and fight somebody, because that could have been a whole different situation. You don't know what somebody's suffering with. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know if they've got an oxygen tank plugged into. I know people are going to say, like, oh, well, they shouldn't be fishing is somebody's outlet. Fishing is everybody's something, but fishing is somebody's outlet, right? This chap is actually an ex-serviceman, suffers with PTSD quite a lot. Do you really think, dressed in olive green, in camouflage, in a bivvy, in a nice rural environment overlooking some sort of wilderness, trees, lake, do you really think a guy like that needs to be approached by anybody and assaulted in his personal space? Because if it were me and somebody did that, they'd still be in recovery position now, 100%. So, no idea what's going off with that. Getting comments, talk away. If you know more, if this chap's still saying he's going to put some more if you've not seen already about the posts on Facebook, I know a lot of you might not be interested in it, but this is a news segment. I'm not here to talk about butterflies and daffodils. It is a news segment. Go on my Facebook, you'll see where I've shared it, and you'll be able to find the guy, find his profile, look through some comments, find a link, and it will take you somewhere. You'll be able to just carry on until you've got a big picture. I have, and it's pretty repetitive, which tells me that, you know, for the sake of Simon Crowe, I just think it's a little bit rich. If it's true, I'm not going to stand here now and say he's done it. That's what's alleged. He didn't argue it in the video. He got his phone out and just stood there filming him. With what looked like a long time between it happening and Simon being filmed, if it was me, I'd be out of there. I'd have been gone. Straight back round to my bivvy, give my face a wipe. I'd let somebody come and film me in my bivvy saying, this man's just attacked me. Mate, what are you talking? I've not even left my bivvy. Who are you? Where are you from? I would completely be... If I knew I was going to be in court, giving this man 60% of my wages in 6 months' time, 100% I wouldn't be stood there with blood all over my face, recording him in his personal space. No way. I just think it's a little bit bitter. So anyway, that is another bit of news this week about an angler being attacked in his bivvy by another angler. Who knows what will unfold? Who knows where the story will go? Because if it was the other way around, I don't know. You'd probably just say, he come round shouting at me in my personal space, so I belted him. You wouldn't make up a stuff, but he's got cuts all over his face. He's got a cut by his eye. You know, this guy's had some real hammer. So anyway, we'll see what unfolds. But fighting in the fishing world, whether it be carp fishing or match fishing or whatever, what's going on? I don't think there's a place for it at all. You have no idea who's on next peg. If there's a couple of kids with their dad having a nice weekend session, learning a bit of carp fishing, do you really think they want to grow up knowing that there's a fishery out there and the adults are so happy just walking around, you know, just fighting with each other? And I know it's one-sided. One guy's minding his own business. The other one's gone from one side at lake to other to do it. So they've not like met in middle and thought, you know, it is a one-sided situation. But that's not fair. That's not right. So get in the comments, talk away. What do you think? I used to be a massive fan of Simon Crowe. I'm putting it on hold simply because if this comes out that he has done it, and in a few months' time this guy posts that, you know, I don't know, it's legal action's being taken and he's admitted whatever, I don't know, then I'll absolutely drop all my respect for the guy, you know, everything. But up until that point, it's still not a great thing to have said about you. You shouldn't really be in someone else's personal space anyway. If someone calls you out online, call them back, respond online. Just do it. You don't go fighting with people on the... If someone turns up at your peg and starts fighting with you, then you fight them. You don't just go and do it because they said something about you online. If you're that weak that you can't just respond online and be like, oh, sure up, mate, I'll do what I like, and oh, ban me then, you're only a quick whatever, then you're just weak. Like, you're really, really weak. So yes, fighting in the angling world. Simon Crowe alleged that he's actually been round and assaulted this cray chap in his bivvy. Not in stuff like that. And hopefully everything irons out all right for the sake of the angling world, because it's a very bad image to be putting across, especially someone like that's got a couple of sponsorships, they're representing a few brands. Not only that, but they've got a name, they've got books out. So yeah, hopefully that irons itself out. Tackle shop shout out time. So every week I like to give a bit of a random tackle shop, bit of a shout out, and sometimes we all have that terrible news of a tackle shop closing its doors. And I thought, you know what, every now and again it'd be nice just to shout out a tackle shop name in the hope that one customer hears it, one future customer hears it and thinks, you know what, Ben mentioned the tackle shop, and I'm down there next weekend, I want to pop in and just buy a Discordia. Anything, just anything, and just support a local tackle shop. Not only that, but it's also nice for the tackle shops to get a bit of recognition. Somebody knows they exist, yeah? Somebody knows they're there. And unfortunately this week, we have got a Rovers fishing tackle. They've announced end of an era and the start of a new chapter. After 50 wonderful years, Rovers fishing tackle will be closing its doors. We want to thank the generations of anglers, customers and friends who have supported us over the years. Your loyalty, stories and shared love for fishing made this shop something truly special. I hate it when a fishing shop closes its doors, because you've got to remember there's a lot of people out there now gambling for fishing tackle, and they forcefully won't go to a tackle shop anymore in the hope that if they gamble away 800-900 quid betting for a pole online, you know, they might win a couple of t-shirts, they might win a hook length box, they might win a pole hold all, you know, all in the hope of winning a pole. And when they do finally win a pole, it's, have they had the money's worth? Yeah, well, what if they don't? Well, all that money is no longer going, it could have been going other places, right? But I'll tell you where it's not going. It's not going into tackle shops. It's millions and millions of pounds a year not going into tackle shops. So I hate it when a tackle shop closes its doors. However, Rovers Fishing Tackle, they've also put on, while this is the end of an era for Rovers Fishing Tackle, we are pleased to share that the shop will continue under the new ownership as Tommy's Tackle, and the familiar Rovers staff will be here to welcome you. This shop may be changing hands, but the memories and community built here will live on. Thank you everyone, and best of luck to Tommy's Tackle, Tony and the Rovers team. So let's go on their Facebook profile and have a look at Rovers Fishing Tackle, the South Coast's premier fishing tackle shop specialist in all disciplines of fishing. Let's go on about, see where they are. 176 to 178 West Street, Fareham, United Kingdom. Yeah, nice. What have they put on? That's the post we've just read. To all our customers, we will be closed from Tuesday. That's just a work in progress. New Fortis thermal suits, trail jackets, affordable thermal performance from Fortis. 100 quid. They look warm. What else have we got? Rovers Christmas opening times. Oh, so here you go. Look. Fresh black lug just arrived. A lot of popular sea fishing down on the South Coast. Live peelers in stock. I've learnt a bit about peelers just lately, watching a few sea anglers. Bargain bivvy, 375 quid. What we got here? Check out the action on these. Savage Gear lures. I've heard a bit about them. They look great. Clearance sale, 2nd of November. It's bargain time. Who knows, they might still have some bargains in stock. As you can see there, look, lots of Drennan. Pretty much everything in stock. Plenty of pop-ups and boilers and that there. It is one of them shops that houses absolutely everything. Lots of Predator lures there. Corda stock. Fox alarms. Sonya baits. You name it. This little shop down there has it all. So, Rovers Tackle. Soon to be Tommy's Tackle. Wish you all the best of luck in the future. People, if you're down that way or if you live local to them, pop in, buy a Discordia, go and get a pint of maggots, even if you're not going fishing. take them and feed the birds. Support your local tackle shop. And it's always nice just to discover a new shop and give it a shout out on the channel, because there's thousands of tackle shops out there and I have no idea they even exist yet. So every week we'll do a tackle shop shout out. I'll find a tackle shop and hopefully one of you guys might be local. Pop in there, give them a bit of support. It just helps. Everything helps. Always support your local tackle dealer. And yes, if everybody just, when they wanted some fishing related items, just went and bought it from their local tackle shop, we would be in so much of a better place in fishing right now. Tackle shops are closing their doors left, right and centre, and they are not opening them again. Luckily, this one's been caught just before the doors closed, and new ownership. It could have been on, you know, it could have been within great reason. Someone could have retired, someone could have passed away, someone just might wanted a change. You know, there's also a lot more money and wealth to be made out there, and sometimes running a business, it might just pay you and your staff, and I don't know. It also could be one of them where it's just changing hands, isn't it? So, yes, all the best, Tommy's Tackle from Rover's Tackle. Can't see why it won't do any good at all, especially on South Coast. Like, loads of fishing going off down there. Again, it's getting to that time of year where if, like me, you've got 600 kids at home and the holidays are coming up, I think they've got a week off, then they've got 2 weeks, then they've got another week, and then they've got 6 weeks, and then they've got another week and 2 weeks and two. Kids are off school, like, you know, all the time, if you think about it. And there's a lovely family on Facebook, Marchant 773 Angling. They announce quite regularly that they've got their own sort of Marchant 773 Angling club dates for their matches, and it's all sort of integrated into their weekends and time off school, and it works out quite well. A great bunch of anglers. The kids are absolute monsters at fishing. Guy, the dad, he's an absolute legend at fishing. Even Mum Kelly, they all bag up. Like, Kelly will announce that she's going fishing after having 6 months off, and she'll be like, oh, I've done all right today, came second in my section with 268 pound of carp, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Like, it's incredible. So yes, they're a great family. However, what I want to touch on now is they regularly ask if anyone's interested in joining them. To get in touch with them, all the details are on their page. I'll put it on screen here now, just their page. If you want to have a scroll through, you'll see the anglers that are already booked on. You'll see, and it's not just for kids. I think if you're a dad and a son, or a mum and a daughter, you can book yourselves on. If you're both into fishing, you can just, like, it's very welcoming. You can see who's fishing, you can see when, where, what fish there is, what pools they're going to be on, how much. There's a few little incentives in there, and it gets your kids out fishing, right? Which is great. But it also gets your kids out fishing with the best. I'm not going to say probably one of, or maybe, or up there with. They are the best sort of fishing family in the UK. They go absolutely everywhere. The parents pump absolutely everything, heart, soul, money, and love into the sport, and the kid, they all absolutely love it. They would not be in better hands at all. So if you've got your kids off school soon, or a weekend's coming up, or 6 weeks, keep an eye out for any events from Marchant 773. They're always doing events where you just meet them there, turn up to a fishery that they're going to be at. You might not be able to make every single one, but have a chat with them. See if you can put your name down for a bunch of them, and it just brings that community in a little bit closer, and your kids end up making some friends for life. All their kids are absolutely legends. You know, I've never seen one of them not smiling. They're all absolutely brilliant anglers as well. They'll learn so much. Mum and dad, just home coaches, know exactly what they're talking about. So what your kids don't know, they'll definitely come home chewing your ear off about what they've learned 100%. So get in touch with Marchant 773. Always there to help, and yes, it'd be a great opportunity for anyone's children, or even yourself and your kids, to go and get involved and enjoy some great fishing. Next thing, talking about match fishing, look, I'm allowed to have an opinion on pretty much anything. I say what I like, within reason. You know, I'm not going to stand here and stab people for no reason whatsoever. But over years, I think we've tried to create events that support everybody. Tackle shops, and it's probably a great area to talk on it now, especially talking about tackle shops just. One closing its doors, another one opening. And every week I'm always talking about a tackle shop closing its doors. And I think there's not enough support. And I think that even the tackle shops don't realise that there's so much more that they could be doing, and us as the angling world could be doing, to keep them afloat. And I just think at any opportunity, like I wanted to run a bunch of matches. I'm not a match angler anymore, come out to that stuff years ago. I wanted to run a bunch of matches, not take a single penny for doing it, but have the events sponsored by a particular tackle shop. So you'd get, to purchase a ticket, you'd have to go and buy something from the tackle shop and then say, oh, and can I also book on for this match? Like Fishermania, you can't fish any Fishermania match unless you are a member of the Angling Trust. It's an Angling Trust event. The incentive is to become an Angling Trust member, and then you can fish our matches. That's how it works. So everyone that you see fishing Fishermania are all registered Angling Trust members. You have to be. So I thought, well, surely it'd be the same situation if I get a bunch of tackle shops out there, or all of them, and get every single one of them to house one of my administrated matches. So all the person had to do is go into tackle shop, buy a quiver tip or anything. So I want a quiver tip for my rod, and because I've bought that, can I book on for that match? Yeah, of course you can. Especially, you've bought that, so you can. You have to buy something. Brilliant. Tackle shops had some support. That match from that tackle shop that they're organising, not on my behalf, but this is where it puts them in the picture as well. That match is then the Tommy's tackle qualifier, if you will. And then that way, that tackle shop's getting, their name is there. It's getting said. It's getting spoken about. You can't discuss that match without saying Tommy's tackle qualifier, not the Hallcroft fishery qualifier. I know they've got a tackle shop, and that's how a lot of them are. It's the fishery qualifier. I wanted to do it so it were tackle shop qualifiers. And again, not making a single penny from it. Nobody's doing this. I said this a long time ago. If anyone sees this and wants to run with the idea, go with it. But North Notts angling qualifier at Springvale, or we could have a, it's all independent tackle shops. So you could have an Aston Park Angling Centre qualifier at Aston Park Fisheries. It brings all the tackle shops in. You can't discuss one without saying the shop name, and it just propels the names even further. Yeah. So it's like, oh, what tackle shop's that then? Where's that? Oh, it's down south on South Coast. So what we've done is we've done it at Gold Valley because it's quite local to it. Oh right, bloody hell. Well, I know it's not, but you see what I'm saying? Because it's always, Larford qualifier, Boston qualifier, Lindome qualifier, and yeah, some of these places have got tackle shops, but it needs to be tackle shops doing it. Yeah, that would be ideal. Then what needs to happen is, when it all gets paid for, all the pegging fees get covered. Just the pegging fees, I take absolutely nothing. The tackle shop has already had their support. They've already had it, right? What then happens is, all the money, every single penny, outside of the pegging fees, because you have to pay the fisheries, you've got to pay them, goes into the pot. Every single penny. I don't take 50 quid, I don't take 100 quid, I take nothing. I just sit here every week, doing news, catching a few trout when I'm chub fishing, and walking around people's fisheries and taking in donated tackle. That's all I do. I don't need to do anything else. All I have to do is ring a tackle shop. Hiya mate, 50 places at this this fishery in May. It's going to be the Tommy's tackle qualifier. All you have to do is make sure that if someone comes in for a disgorger or £100 pole and or whatever, and they want to book onto the qualifier, it's those people that come in and purchase from you. You have to be a member of the Angling Trust. You have to pay before you even pay for the qualifying matches for Fishermania. Before you even apply for them. Yeah, you don't just get one. So there's no different in supporting your local tackle shop. You guys know me. I think all these competition firms getting it way. I don't think it's the way forward. They're going to do it regardless. But it's also a lot of money not making it back to our tackle shops. And I'll put on screen now. this year, Fishermania has only gone and got sponsored by Carp Life Competitions. So why don't we, like I keep saying, get the tackle shops and put them all in the limelight and let them do it. It's me do it. All the tackle shop has to do is ring me and say, "Oh Ben, all sold out, mate. Brilliant, nice one, wicked." He's made a bunch of money. Even if he sells, if there's 50 qualifiers and that guy sells 50 disgorgers at £1.50 each, that guy's made enough. All he has to do is get a pen. This is the only cost to him. All he has to do is get a pen. Yeah, no worries, mate. All he has to do is write 50 names down. That's all he has to do when someone buys stuff. And then the 51st person that comes in saying, "Oh, I want to book on," like, "Sorry, mate," gets his pen out again, "But I'll put you on reserve list." What are you buying? Because to be on reserve list, you can walk out and say, "Oh, I'm not buying it if I have to be on reserve list." Right, well, mate, for the price of a disgorger, £1.50, put you on reserve list. What's it going to be? It saves spending 30. What is it to become Angling Trust member? £30 a year, £35. It saves spending £35 a year to even just apply for a ticket to see if you get one. If you want a reserve list, more often than not, most reserve lists end up getting sort of, they end up dropping into them anyway. You think of how many qualifiers we could have for one big final, right? Or a bunch of finals. Or we could go through like, quarters, semis and all that stuff. We could make it huge. We have 365 days to play with, 52 weekends, and then not to mention if there's any particular weeks of the year that we could get bulks of people, which would be ideal for them to book time off work. I don't know if a lot of people would book the first week off or the last week off in 6 weeks holidays, but we could work around it. All we need to do is put them out there. Not everyone can make a Fishermania match, but they'll pay for them just in case. So that's my idea. I've banged on about it way too long. What do you all think? Get in the comments. Something similar to that. I think it'd be a great idea. I don't see why it wouldn't work. And that way, tackle shops are getting all the support. But one thing that's not happening is Fishermania isn't getting in touch with five different tackle shops every year and saying, "Would you like to sponsor the event? I know it's money and it's big money, right? But you got to imagine paying for qualifying events, paying for qualifying matches. What's it need to sponsor? What's it doing? All we need to get is people like, I could do a bit of it. I'm not really into it. Tom Scully. He could get a bunch of Catch More Media people everywhere. There's plenty of people that could get round, televise it, film it, even just stood there with your phones, filming individuals, interviewing odd one or two. And then we could get, I don't know, we could get bloody Rich Chapman for a final. We could have him focusing on, like, we could get a bunch of people doing it. What we don't need is to be spending £200,000 sponsoring the event. It doesn't need to be like that. What's more important nowadays is someone's been paid for the day's work and, they were selected to do the work. That's huge. It's all about bringing angling back in and hopefully keeping the whole sport afloat. When these shops are gone, people, they don't always come back. More often than not, they're never seen again. So get in comments, talk away. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's not? I think it is. I know someone out there will think it's a good idea and they'll say I don't think it's a good idea just because I've said it. But it's not me trying to make money from it. But I just think as a tackle shop, that'd be incredible. Like if I had a tackle shop called Harthill Angling and it was just a little tiny like Aladdin's Cave, and now we're going to be sponsoring, if once a year I had an influx of customers coming in, 50 anglers to fish Aston Park, a qualifier at Aston Park Fisheries, or even let's say I had Aston Park Angling Centre, once a year, or we could have a couple of qualifiers on the same place, a few times. Fishermania, I don't know if they still do it anymore, but it wouldn't just be like one at Allcroft, they'd be like two. Like Feeder Masters used to have 2 Southfields. So once or twice every year, there'd be an influx of customers coming in to book on. They're going to be buying bait from me in the morning. They're going to be supporting me. They've got to buy a bit of tackle to get entered in to the qualifier. Bloody damn right I want to be involved in that. Yeah, of course I will, yeah. How much do I pay? No, it's free. That idiot off YouTube, he just come up with an idea. All you have to do is make sure that all the qualifying money that gets paid on, it gets put into this big bank account that Ben's trusted somebody with to do all the payouts with. And then the rest of it has to go to fisheries. And luckily, if it's an on-site tackle shop, that'll be a lot easier. They just take out their pegging fees. EIA, it's rest it cash. Who do I get it to? You have it. Brilliant. Goes in this bank. And then we get someone who's absolutely mustard at dishing out winnings. I don't know, big sections, massive pay pot. I'm not a big money guy. I know you've seen me say this before, but you've got to remember, I'd sooner tackle shops get all the support if it means people having bigger payouts. And this is no shade on people that run matches and make a few quid of it, because there's a lot of admin work involved. Luckily, fishing is my day job, and I just think it would be great for the tackle shops to be the Aston Park Angling Centre qualifier, or the North Notts qualifier, or the Derrick's Angling qualifier that we had the other week on, Derrick's Angling. It'd just be nice for all these tackle shops to get recognition constantly. You know, if you think about how many times someone says Lindome qualifier on Facebook, when they ought, it'd be great. Like, people would be learning about the tackle shops they never knew existed, and it could go on forever. There could be a qualifier. There could be 7 qualifiers going off all on one weekend, just one weekend of the year. It'd be incredible. Absolutely mega. Anyway, that's my view on supporting tackle shops anyway. And I think I'm going to wrap it up there. This is Tuesday NEWSDAY. It is all just a little bit of news. I like to touch on the more serious things in the angling side. If any of you've got any comments or suggestions for future things to discuss, by all means, get in comments, send me an email at that'son@mail.com and talk away. I'm quite open to whatever happens with all this Simon Crow stuff. I don't think it should have happened at all. There's no footage of it. You've got to remember, a guy has left his peg to drive around the lake to go and see the other person, right? Then whatever's happened has happened. Both of them have got blood on the face. There's one guy saying that he's assaulted me, he's done this, he's done that, and the other guy's saying nothing, pretty much. But he still stayed there when he could have just gone before he even got his camera out and just denied the whole. So I'm a bit up in arms about it. I don't really know what's going off with that. Hopefully it'll all unfold and things line out. I'm a Simon Crow fan, yeah? But if this turns out to be something a bit more sinister, 100%, I show no remorse at all in calling somebody out for doing something like that. That kid, that bloke could have been with, he could have had his child in there with him, could have had his daughter sat there chilling out in the sleeping bag watching something on telly. We don't need that. We don't need that sort of stuff around here. But on the flip side, next week it could come out the complete opposite. Absolute opposite. So who knows? And that's the beauty of the unknown. We've discussed tackle shops closing down, but coming back alive again. So good luck to Tommy's Tackle. We've discussed Windermere, 30 new pegs, a booking system hopefully getting put in place with overnight fishing. That's going to be immense. I've also touched on great support in angling. Mr. Andy Norfolk, I'll probably say it a lot more times throughout my future videos. Thank you so much for helping me out. That's just me alone. I do so many miles in a week. It's great to have some sort of support. I did drop it out there, like, are you sure? I'm not really taking, funds off people before. But it was also a great opportunity for me to use it as an example for a lot of you guys, that there's a lot of people out there willing to help you. And if you've watched my channel in the last couple of weeks, Mick, Mark, Jamie, Paul, there's been so many of them that have all been donating tackle to me, which, if you stay tuned, you'll hopefully see me give away to some incredibly deserving kids at some future events or matches or just randomly on bank. And if it's okay with their mums and dads, I'll try and get them on the channel. And, well, what comes after that will be a bit of a surprise for you lot as well. So stay tuned for that. We've also touched on the Marchant family. Get in touch. Bunch of great opportunities for your kids. Even if they're not the most competitive kids in the world, it just gets them out fishing. They just might need to see it in motion to be like, wow, I really want to be like these people. They are great at fishing. I just like catching a fish or two, but this 10-year-old next to me is already on £50 a carp. And it changes everything for them. It really does. Like, if you put them in front of my audience, they will become great people. One bloke used to say to me that if you want to be a millionaire, you need to hang around with a millionaire. If you don't hang around with millionaires, you've got sort of no incentive to become one, because you've not got them around you to see it in progress, to see it actually functioning. So to become great at something, just force yourself out around people that are already doing it very well, and naturally you'll pick up on what they're doing. So Marchant 773, get in touch with them, and yes, they'll happily have you on board. And always like to give a Marchant shout out. Great family, always very supportive in angling world. So yes, good luck to anyone that gets in touch with them and joins them on their angling ventures. And lastly, Drennan International, signing a deal away with the England feeder squad for another 4 years, taking it up to 2031. In great hands. I'm a down and out diehard Preston guy. I loved the idea of them being sponsored by Preston when they were. But think about it. Going over to Drennan for the last few years, there's been some success. It obviously works. The tackle's trusted. The management's trusted. The brand is there. It's a home brand as well, isn't it? Like most great brands we've got over here in UK. So it's nice to keep everything in-house. And it's also nice to see just... if it's working and they're doing it again, then yeah, let's do it. So yes, good luck to the England feeder team for the next 4 years. I always look forward to results and your pursuits around the globe. And it's nice to see you dressed in Drennan again. So I'll leave it there. People, this has been Tips, Tackle, Tactics, Tantrums, and throw your mate on the next peg out the bivvy on a Tuesday. If you've enjoyed this channel, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, it's completely free of charge, and that way any future content I post, whether it be news or fish or catching trout when I'm trying to catch a chub, tackle collections, great supporters of the channel, people donating to me, whether it be travel funds or even tackle for juniors, you get to see it all. And I guess it's quite interesting. A lot of people, I do the videos for the tackle so I remember who it's from and what I've got. A lot of people are starting to enjoy me going through all this stuff, so yeah. I've got loads of space, and hopefully we can make some incredibly happy juniors, children, in years to come, and you'll all get to see your stuff being given away. So, thank you all for watching. It's been lovely. Lots of things touched on. If you've got any queries, issues, drama, stories, get in touch with me. Comments, that's on @mail.com, and I'll happily respond where I can. So, thank you all for watching. See you next Tuesday.